Man, that didn't even feel like work, dude. I feel fucking awful.
I know. It's a real movie.
How... Is that legal? Can we watch
it? Why are we allowed to watch real movies? Have we done it before? Has there been another movie that's been real? Like, Shaggy DA was good.
I mean,
but
Cop
not...
Dog.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck you.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
So, welcome to Rough Cuts. We are a movie about a movie.
A movie podcast about movies.
Yes. Thank you for... God damn. I can't rescue myself out of anything, man. I'm just spoonerisms everywhere. Bob Marley has a Christmas ghost. So...
The real takeaway from this film is be excellent to yourself.
Be excellent to each other. God damn.
Welcome to the
Be
episode,
excellent
everyone.
to dogs.
I am Boyks. This is Ilyon. We are your hosts of Rough Cuts, where we will be watching particularly a bad or B movie starring dogs, and then rating the dogs.
Because who cares about the movies?
What did we watch today? Yeah, fuck the movies.
the movies.
What did we watch today?
We watched a
Tell us a little bit
movie
about what we
today.
watched.
Boyks, we watched a movie today. Normally we watch... Okay, no. Sorry, normally we watch a movie. Today we watched a film. We watched...
A film? Like a project that someone put effort and time into and thought about?
And that people
and then
acted in, and they had special effects.
Yeah, people cared. People fucking cared, Cam.
And it shows. And it worked. This movie's good. We're not allowed to talk about... I'm not allowed to editorialize about the movie. But, okay, we know this movie is good because... Hold up, but... I can save this.
Well,
I can save this for our
what-
podcast. I can save this for our podcast by tying it in. Because
Yes.
this movie is good for a specific reason. And that is a dog reason. And that dog reason is it has fake dog paw!
Fake dog paw. Fake dog paw.
Fake dog paw.
paw.
Fake dog paw. And every good dog movie has fake dog paw. Some bad ones do too, but this one has a good fake dog paw, and it wins because of that. It's good.
So the film that we watched is called Man's Best Friend, which starts off with medieval horror paintings of dogs biting things.
Well, okay, it starts out with, like, nice, like, 1800s paintings of, like, hunting dogs, like, sitting at their master's feet and getting pets and all those kind of things. And then it goes to medieval Hieronymus Bosch, like, Satanism, dogs, like, eating and killing unicorns and shit. Weird shit.
It's a really good representation of the tonal shift that we will be expecting in the film as it progresses. I'm not even joking.
No, you are.
That's the best part.
I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, it absolutely.
Like, here's a cute dog sitting next to its owner, painted in 1800s, and the owner's petting it, and the dog looks loyal and friendly, and then immediately jump cut to red, vicious fangs dog biting into a human and, like, ripping out their arms and stuff. Like, shit!
It even has, like, this kind of flat, like, TV sitcom style lighting on a lot of scenes early on. It feels like an episode of Full House for some of it, and then just like
Full House or like the opening of a BBC like sitcom-ish type of show.
Like it just feels very sitcom-y in a way. Like and like you were saying, it feels, and we'll get into it, but the beginning of this movie has a lot of scenes where it's like, oh hey look, it's Beethoven. Oh, look, Beethoven's gonna get up to trouble. Oh no, bad Beethoven. And the trouble is always murder.
Oh, that dog's gonna do something zany. Oh my god. It's like if Dennis the Menace fucking pulled out a gun.
Fucking great. This movie's rules. I love this movie.
So, after all the zany antics, at the heart of this film, we do have a dog movie.
We do. It opens up So the beginning of this movie, I knew that we were in for something pretty great when there is a lot of setup of this like lady scientist kind of thing going around and getting all the animal stuff together, and she pulls out a tape recorder kind of thing.
Yes.
And she plays a thing back that's just Spanish, so it's like speaking back to her, and it's going like "Cómo estás?" and she's "Cómo estás, señor?" So she's kind of trying to teach herself Spanish. And so it'd do like an English, and then it would do a Spanish, and she'd like kind of repeat it back, and she's kind of doing that as she does her rounds. And she goes and she sees an empty cage, and it's got like this weird. We thought it was a bomb vest.
Yeah, we thought the dog escaped and left a bomb for
It
her.
left
Like,
a bomb.
oh,
It looked like it. It looked like it. I thought that was going to be really good for a minute.
Holy shit, the dog should have, though.
I know. It would have. Okay, it would have made this movie even better. But they did something that was still real good, because as she's like leaning over to look at it, the dog comes up behind her, like kicks her into the cage, and then starts mauling her, and you kind of see like little quick cuts back and forth, the blood splatter everywhere, a shoe goes flying,
Yeah, a
covered
shoe
in
goes
blood.
flying, yeah.
And then as suddenly it like rips her off the cage and drags her away finally in the last spurt of blood kind of thing, the tape goes, "Goodbye, adios." And just like, that was a really good setup. Like, yeah, that's a good kill. That is a good kill in a slasher movie.
Good.
It's really well set up. I liked it.
This, I feel bad because this is like way too high of a camera quality and production so far.
I mean, what do you mean you feel bad?
This looks way better than most movies we watch.
Sure, I feel good about that. Better.
Oh no.
I am pleased to meet you. Mucho gusto en
Okay,
conocerle.
it's actually kind of a good joke to keep the learning Spanish tape playing.
Thank you. Gracias.
I can't believe the dog left a dynamite vest.
A bomb?
Yeah!
Por favor.
That's gotta be like a tracking vest.
Oh my god, I could have fucking killed her by...
Oh my god.
Yeah! Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Jesus.
Let her go up.
Oh, was that a shoe?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Goodbye. Adios.
Okay. That rules. Holy shit.
That was great.
Hard hitting. I think I can do some.
I'm a little disappointed that she didn't repeat it though. She's never gonna learn
She
Spanish
just
that way.
doesn't. The dog just.
Yeah, the dog
Adios.
should have said
The dog
adios.
audio. God damn it.
Like fucking Terminator style.
We need to
Adios,
make our
pal.
own movie. We always have better ideas. We always have better ideas. I don't know.
This is the one movie the dog didn't talk in that I actually would have liked one-liners.
One-liners from the dog would have been.
Yeah.
It would have made this movie a little extra something.
The mail's been delayed.
Yeah.
Just dumb bullshit.
Oh my god! Just before he kills the because he kills the mailman.
He kills
But-
the mailman. Yeah.
So at the beginning, before that, it's set up that she phones into a news station and is like, "Are you guys coming down here? Like, I've got it set up so you can come in here and I'll do the interview. Just make sure that you bring me the money that you promised." So it's set up that like this is an animal testing lab and maybe they're doing some cover-up stuff or whatever, and this lady's a whistleblower and wants some money out of it kind of thing, and they set up this reporter chick as well.
Yeah.
So they kind of set up that whole thing. The reporter lady comes by the next day, and of course this person's fucking dead, so
Yeah.
she can't. She's waiting
She's
for
not
her to come
answering
out
the
and let her
phone.
in.
She's
not
incredibly
answering the
rude.
phone. Yeah, it's this horrible bitch. Look at her. She won't talk anyway. But so doesn't care about her appointments at all. Doesn't even learn Spanish well. But
Like, she's kind of the Dennis Nedry of this film, like from Jurassic Park.
yes, yeah, exactly. So she's sitting outside waiting to try and meet her contact on the inside to get her scoop. And it's also set up. Man, this movie. Do you know how I keep on saying set up?
This movie had writing.
Isn't that weird? Like,
How
like,
did it
there's,
have
like,
writing?
It has writing and there's characters. Because right away, you can tell, like, oh, this lady's a whistleblower. She kind of has, like, her own little thing, and she's, like, learning Spanish as she goes around. She feels very human, this lady that's the scientist. And then the reporter lady, they set up right away where when she's getting the call from her, they're watching a cut that they're doing of her talking about how polyester is the new thing in fashion. So you can tell, like, she's just this local reporter who's she's not a real reporter. She's one of the, like, oh, look, there's this cat stuck up a tree today. What did you do with your cat, Mrs. Baxter? And we'll get to that. But,
that'll get to
but
so, let's talk.
it's
actually,
set
real
up
quick,
like that.
let's talk a little bit about movie making. Because we don't get to do this much in the podcast because most of the movies don't have it.
They're not made.
They don't have movies.
They're spawned from the aether. Yeah.
So there's a couple things that happen in films that make them more believable. One is a setup and a payoff. Something happens earlier in the film, and then it comes up again at a later critical moment. That happens a lot in this movie. The next is characters are people. That is a hard concept for writers to figure out and actors to do properly. That
setup and payoff is the most basic shit. And it can be done really poorly too, because it can be done in a very stupid and kind of ham-fisted way.
Oh, for sure.
It's inserted in there and you immediately go, oh, well, that's going to come up again. Like, because like, why else would they talk about this kind of thing? And this one is done in a much more sophisticated way, much like you said about like making it feel lived in. Right away, you have like her learning Spanish, which makes her a person. Like that's what you do.
Quirk.
Yeah, it's a little quirk. It's a little piece of somebody being a human, and they do the same thing in a minute, which you were going to get to, which is the lady waiting outside.
The lady waiting outside. There's the security guard that's eating donuts and talking to his coworkers about donuts, and a janitor walking around. The janitor.
So the janitor and security guard come out while she's waiting, and they just have a regular conversation. And there's no reason for it in like a greater plot of the film kind of thing. But then they're people. Like they feel like you're not watching actors. You're watching a security guard and a janitor kind of shooting shit as they, go about their rounds.
They dump their garbage can of gore.
Of gore, yeah. I mean, okay, it does happen to be a dead body, which is a little weird. but like they kind of just talk back and forth to each other, and they're like, oh yeah, what's going on, Steve, kind of thing. Like they have like that little conversation of like, oh man, yeah, like Fridays, huh? And like, it feels real.
It's something that makes it believable, kind of like if we're talking about like animation for a second as well. Something that you can do to make, let's say, a spaceship feel real is you can ground it in reality a bit. The spaceship doesn't just fly off. The characters have to get out and push it to give it a jump start, and then it flies off. So now it's a believable piece of machinery in a way. Like, not like a spaceship, but like a flying machine. Like a flying machine, like in an anime, like if you're watching like a Ghibli or something.
Sorry, they just like, it's way. I remember that scene in Star Wars that made it so believable when Wookiee had to get out and fucking push.
Okay, what? But if Chucky had got out and pushed it, you would be like, oh yeah, that thing's a piece of shit. He needs to push it to get it off the planet. You would do that, though.
God damn it. God.
You would, though.
I can't do this.
Chewbacca's like, and he's like pushing the fucking the Millennium
Falcon out the goddamn ship.
But I'm not wrong. It would be more believable.
No, you're right. I'm gonna go on the record here and say that I don't know that would make it super believable myself. But
the Millennium Falcon has a flat tire and it can't go.
Fucking Christ. I'm just. I need a break from the podcast. How dare you?
What I'm saying is, you need to add a little touch of something that the viewer can relate to.
Yeah,
that's what I'm eventually getting to.
Yeah.
I can
when
relate
you like
to my car being a piece
jump
of shit
start-
and the
when you
Millennium
jump start your
Falcon needing
space.
someone to push it. Yes.
guys, God damn it.
Just like I can relate to these two guys talking about donuts.
or later on, you know, when somebody pisses acid, it makes sense to me. Like as a viewer,
Look.
I've connected with that.
If you've ever had an all-night bender going from bar to bar,
You'll feel like you've pissed acid. Sure, fair.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And if you've ever had a spaceship, you'll use your Wookiee to go out and push it. God
look,
damn.
they don't make
so,
Wookiee push it. They made Leia push it. Come on.
I in any case, she sneaks in behind them. They do another really good job. Like, so she goes over, she looks in like the bin because she sees them like pushing it out to the waist. So I don't know why she kind of just like, she's like, oh God, oh, that's why. 'Cause she looks in. You see, again, they kind of set it up because why would a character look inside to see that there's the dead body in there? Because they haven't shown a dead body or anything. Like they haven't shown this woman's mutilated corpse from when the dog ripped her apart kind of thing, right? They haven't shown that. And so they set up this corporation is probably evil, not very good, all those kinds of things right away without really having to be anything ham-fisted because these people push it out to the curb and it's just normal to them. And she goes over and you'd think, oh, like, why would she open it up? Like she's trying to get inside to do an interview. It doesn't make sense for her to open a garbage can. But as she walks by, she goes, oh God, what's that smell? Like, and it's just little things like that. And she kind of goes over and looks at it and she's like, oh shit, there's body in here. Okay, now we've got to break in. So she decides that they're going to break in and do the interview anyways because she's kind of an idiot. Honestly, this is a dumb fucking plan. This is stupid. But it fits with her character and stuff. She really wants to be reporter lady and she's not. So she's trying to do this. Breaks in with her friend. And like you said, as they break in too, there's kind of another little shot of them like sneaking in the background. And in the foreground, you're just actually following the janitor and security guard again. He's eating a donut. He's like, oh, these are real fresh. They're great. And he's kind of having a chat. Like, it's great. It's little bits of humanity inside of the film. And so she breaks in. They walk into this lab that we'd seen before. And she's going around to all the different animals and looking at them in cages. And they eventually
recording everything.
Yeah, as they're recording everything, she eventually gets up to a special part of the lab that's like it's got like a cheetah and a tiger and all these kinds of things. She's like, "Oh my God, is this even legal? Like, look at all these like exotic animals they have."
It's like very Resident Evil type of lab.
Yes.
Very video gamey. It's weird.
Yeah, very video gamey. Kind of like it's funny. We keep on like it felt so Jurassic Park in a lot of ways.
So much,
and
of
we
this
thought
is
that
Jurassic
it was.
Park, and it isn't.
We were like, okay, well, this is probably taking a lot from Jurassic Park. Like, I'm sure that it came out just after. It did come out just after, like a couple months after. There's no way it was aping it. It could not have been aping it. It was amazing. So it's kind of neat that like they come across a lot of the same types of things in some ways. But they've got the lab like that, and she's going through, and there's a great little moment here actually where she's like, all right, oh man, look, this one's covered. So she's like inside of this, and she turns the camera like all dramatic.
Yeah.
And she goes, we have a rare extinct, which if you have it, it's not extinct, lady. It's a little bit rips off the cover, and she's like, dog? And it's the dog.
They're setting it up like it's a dinosaur.
Yes.
100%. And
exactly.
It's a cute puppo.
Feeling like this movie came out after Jurassic Park made so much sense, and it kind of blows my mind that it couldn't have really been influenced by it, because they wouldn't have had time to do this movie like and set it up and everything. Like, it had to be on the cutting floor already.
It was like 4.5 months. So, there's no way.
There's no way. I mean, and this movie is really well polished. Like, the effects are actually quite good. The effects are really good for the time. And the acting's good. Like, it doesn't make sense. The editing's good. It doesn't make any sense that it would ever be like slapped together in a month to be put out like that. It's not like that.
So after they're shooting the video of the dog in the cage, she opens up the cage. The dog's adorable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she wants to do an interview with the dog. She wants to be like,
is this like show him off?
Yeah, she's like holding it. She's like, is this dog a vicious killer that they trapped in this cage? And doing this whole thing, right? Like that whole reporter bit. Yeah. Sorry.
So the security guard notices their light from their camera, because they're using an old VHS recording camera that's over the shoulder.
Because that would have been what it was at the time, yeah.
And so he walks up, scares them the dog runs out and tries to get away, but then eventually works his way back as the reporter and her camera person are escaping. And apparently kills the security guard by dropping a bunch of like plastic barrels on him that are empty.
Yeah, I didn't
Down
think
the
that he was
stairs.
dead, but he never shows up again.
He was
so
super
he
dead.
Might be dead. He might be dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't show him dead, but like, yeah, kind of
and
knocks
then
him down the stairs with these barrels.
And then a character
stuff.
from Jaws shows up, and from
Holy
a
shit.
completely different sci-fi film, and he's like, "Sit, dog. Now go back to your cage."
Lance Henriksen, who
Yeah.
is acting
AVP
at an
fucking-
11.
Yeah.
Alien from the Alien franchise, Bishop,
Yeah.
and like you said, he's a evil scientist villain in AVP and a bunch of different things. Lance Henriksen, just kind of a classic of a lot of like B movies, especially science fiction and things like that.
He came with his fucking A game.
Oh my god, he's in a different film in the first half of this though, because like you said, he comes in and he starts talking to this dog and he's like, "Sit, boy," and it feels like instantly
like
the minute that he's the minute that he's on scene, what I felt like every single time that he was on scene is I was in the last 10 minutes of a Jaws film or something. Like it's not even like you're in a Jaws film or like something like that, like a monster movie. You're in the last minute of it. Like shit's going down. It's about to happen. Like he's always tired and sick of everybody's shit and no one listens to me. Like he's that guy, but from the very beginning, it's kind of wild because he has no character arc. He is just
he doesn't at all.
Don't give a shit.
We were super confused if he was a good guy or a villain and he's just a guy. He's just an asshole. He's just
kind
that
of an
guy.
asshole. Yeah, he's just a prick.
He's not good or bad. He's just that guy.
Well, he is making a killer robo cyber dog thing.
Like he's morally bad, but his actions in the movie are like questionable.
Yeah, questionably bad. But
yeah,
anyways, I mean, he does try to save people. Yeah.
The dog gets in a getaway vehicle.
Yeah. Ultimately, the dog decides to break its programming because he like tells it to sit and go inside, and it like this dog tries to kind of like hems and haws about it and then runs away. Which, by the way, thinking about that, this dog hems and haws about the decision. This dog actor rules. Like, they do a really good job of just filming this dog. This dog is really cute and exceptionally well trained. Like, it's really well trained dog.
It's a very emotive dog, which is kind of weird to say because most of the emotion we see in dog movies is no emotion and mouth moving up and down. So it's weird to see like something that's real, that is actually
Something that we even had one of our viewers on Twitter talk about this, that they were saying that they're glad that we talk about this a lot, where in these dog movies we're like, that's not menacing, he's obviously looking for a treat off screen, right? Like, and they're like, it's so hard to make a dog look menacing because these are well-trained dogs and they've got their trainers there, they're getting fed treats and stuff to do these tricks and stuff. They're not growling and baring their teeth and actually seeming menacing most of the time. Even the well-trained ones, like even really good well-trained dogs, like Greta in Play Dead.
Greta
and stuff like that.
did not remotely look scary. She just looked very happy to be poisoning people.
But like all of those dogs, like they all look, most of the time they don't look really menacing. Even if they bare their teeth, it's kind of a like, I have to do this.
This dog comes off as actually terrifying at times, I think. Like,
in
I
certain
would be
points,
scared of this dog.
And other times it's super cute. Like it'll look at the girl, like the main character who he gets in her getaway car, because like when they run away, he runs away with them, and he'll like look at her and be like, and do like the sad puppy dog eyes up at her and have like that little like low moan. And then later on, one of the other characters tries to hurt this dog, her husband. Honestly, he's valid, but the dog looks down, so he tries to poison. I'm going to jump ahead just to this scene really quickly.
This is
just
way
to highlight this,
but
way further in. But he tries to poison the dog because he's worried that the dog is trying to kill him. and he doesn't want to like break it to his wife or whatever.
Justified.
And so he chops up a bunch. Yeah, totally justified. We'll get to that. But he chops up a steak and puts rat poison in it. It is justified. He's totally right. But he chops up a steak and puts a bunch of rat poison in it and goes and gives it to this dog. And the dog comes over and like looks at the plate and stares down at it. And then it kind of like its eyes move up slowly to the guy. And then you hear like this.
Yo, why you do this to me, you piece of shit?
And like you hear this low growl kind of slowly form, and its teeth slowly start to bare, like as it's like looking down at like it's perfect. It's really good. I never thought about just how good this dog acts until just like kind of thinking about like the hesitation it shows at this part making that decision. Anyway, so
after the getaway car, Jon Snow shows up from Game of Thrones.
God damn it, I forgot.
And then Jon Snow grabs woman and he's like, give me your purse. And then starts like feeling her up very creepily, which is awful. So the dog,
she goes to get groceries for the dog, Yeah,
the dog Max chases after him to pick up the purse and get it back. And then he comes back with no blood on him and the purse, and it's great and everything's fine. But what really happened is there were 20 other dogs in an alley, all with a knife and cloak, and they one by one stabbed Jon Snow in the gut, saying, "For the watch."
Yes, and then dumped him in a dumpster.
And then dumped him behind a dumpster.
Real fucking dead. Yeah.
So Jon Snow is fucking dead. I am sorry about spoilers.
Spoilers: Jon Snow gets torn apart by a dog. But
20 of them with ritual knives.
The dog comes back with the purse, and she's like, "Oh wow, look at how well trained this dog is."
She's like, "Oh, we should keep the dog. I love dogs." But how am I going to break this to my husband?
Well, the answer is
she doesn't.
You don't fuck that asshole. Which I didn't like this part of her. Like she was kind of like the husband at first. Were kind of like, well, like maybe the guy's is kind of a dick, but it was like. No, he's totally right. Like, why is she just bringing a dog in without consulting him? Because he even says he's like, hey, maybe we could have one, but like, maybe we can find a dog that we both like. We can talk about it. And she's like, but I want this dog. And he's like, you just came home with it. Like, I don't know this fucking thing. Like, it was kind of.
She doesn't tell him anything about taking him from the facility or anything. So it's just like
she's a criminal that like just stole this dog from this lab and all this. Yeah.
You know what? She kind of sucks. I'm gonna go on record. I don't like her.
She really sucks. Yeah, she kind of sucks for that. But she takes this dog home and she's showering. She's got the dog in the room with her while she's showering because like I think it pawed at the door, so she let him in. And then her husband comes home and he's like, "Oh, hey, honey," and like opens the door to the bathroom. And this dog starts going to fucking rip his head off because it's very protective of her. And she's like, "Oh no, don't do that, Max." The dog's name's Max, and she kind of talks to him. He's like, "What the fuck did you get this dog from?" And then he kind of has that argument with her, and she agrees to leave the dog in the backyard for now and not let it in the house because he's like, well, I don't even know this dog. He tried to attack me. Like, this seems fucked up. Which, all real fair, actually. But so she leaves the dog outside kind of thing. And then, nope, sorry, she doesn't actually because she fucking hates her husband, I guess. The dog starts barking and she immediately lets the dog inside anyways, just for reasons, which we thought meant that he was just going to kill this husband like right away. And we were just going to off to the races. But the movie's smarter than that. It does a good job of like, it doesn't just suddenly kill the husband out of nowhere. Kind of sits downstairs, like he begs to come inside, and she lets him in, kind of sneaks him in, and lets him stay inside, and then they go on to the next day kind of thing. So it's just set up that this dog can kind of go inside the house, and he's walking all over this lady.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then we have a lot of, it feels very tonally like a sitcom. It feels like Beethoven, like we talked about.
It's just Beethoven. Yeah,
it's just like Beethoven.
20 minutes, it's just Beethoven. It's like, so weird.
They start having like they have sex at one point, like the
dog stops
husband
them,
wife, and the dog sees them through the door, and then like slams into the door and throws it open. The guy's like, "Holy shit!" and the dog's just doing this thing, and they have like a "Oh no!" Oh, like it's kind of like wacky comedy almost, like it's done played up in such a way, and there's lots of little things like that. They start doing, but there's always like a dark undertone to it. Like it's done well because I think that was the point, is that it was meant to be almost off-putting as like, ooh, this could be your dog, right? Like, look, it's a nice quiet neighborhood, lovely summer day, everybody's out having fun, and it's a nice cute doggy. And it like, but then it turns real dark out of nowhere. The paperboy comes by, for example, in the next
That
scene,
paperboy
next
is
morning.
a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, no,
It's very
absolutely.
Beethoven, where he like
Yeah.
purposefully throws shit to like mess with him.
Yeah,
Like,
he hits the dog in the head with the paper. Like, that's one of the things that this movie does, is it follows all of the tropes of like a slasher / monster movie. In that essentially nobody gets hurt that doesn't quote unquote deserve it. Right? Like, they all do something to provoke the dog. Like, there's not something done where it's like the dog just goes around and murders her neighbor because the neighbor's there. It does it because there's a whole, like, somebody does something to the dog and then the dog fucking retaliates.
There's a fairly big body count in this movie too. Like,
yeah. Yep.
I did some math on it, and this dog, like 11 or 12 people or and animals. We're gonna get to that.
And or animals. Okay, there's a few things that don't deserve it in this movie, mostly the other animals. But so the dog hits it. He hits the dog in the head with a paper. The dog chases after him and then like shreds his bike, but then gets called back. So it, comes back to the house. There's just a bunch of different little scenes like that. There's a neighborhood kid that kind of pops into their house for some reason. This part wasn't really well explained.
I guess
he's kind of a local rascal. He just kind of comes in and out of their house. And she likes the woman, the main character, and they kind of chat it up and stuff. At first I was like, is this their kid? I love this kid, by the way, because he like knocks on their door, opens it, and fucking skates in through their living room. Like, he just skates through their house. With his rollerblades. She doesn't mind it though. She's actually like, she's totally cool. No. She just chats with him and just like having a conversation with this neighborhood kid. It's kind of weird, but I kind of liked it. And so they have that whole thing.
This is sort of the ramp up to when shit goes down.
Yes.
There's this long, slow period of the dog being cute and slowly realizing that other people want the attention of women that dog likes.
Mm-hmm. And then it's slowly destabilizing, like it's going
more and more crazy and more vicious.
Yeah,
so let's talk about the dog a little bit more.
Yeah.
So all we know now is that it's a dog and it was experimented on. Yes. They extrapolate on that and tell us not only has it been experimented on, but it is a chimera of different DNA from different animals that were put into it, including a snake,
so Jurassic Park,
a chameleon,
a
cheetah,
a
bear, I guess, was there.
There was a bear. There was a bear in the background. Yep.
And whatever the fuck has acid piss.
There's a xenomorph. There is a goddamn xenomorph in the background. There has to be.
Fucking Bishop must have brought it, because
holy shit! I actually just realized. I wonder, did they do that specifically because it's Lance Henriksen and they're just basically making an alien reference?
It has to be.
It might be that. There's literally a scene where this dog goes to pee on a fire hydrant early on, and it starts melting the fire hydrant because it has acid piss.
There's no reason for it. It's just
why would it have acid piss?
It's great
because it's great.
The reason we need to explain that is because the next scene with the cat is where they start showing that off, and I did not like this scene.
No, it's meant
well
to
done.
Not be enjoyed. Yeah,
it's not enjoyable.
No, it's meant not to be. Like, it's meant to be off-putting and gross. Like, it's meant to kind of start the. It's meant to be like kind of the real big kickoff for, this dog is horrible and a monster.
This dog is horrifying.
Yeah, because like they actually set it up to beforehand, because like you said, the scene directly before that is Science Man explaining to the cops, I sliced all these things into this dog, you see, because I'm a fucking idiot.
Like, really? That's what he says.
Well, why else? But he goes, in the right hands, Max could be a great tool, and in the wrong hands, a deadly weapon. And then
I don't see how it could be a good tool in the right hands at all. Actually,
No,
I'm questioning his logic on that.
Well, see, in the right hands, you can go out and kill a bunch of. You can use it to suppress people in other countries for the
non-Americans,
American
third world people.
That's
That's their goal. you're
that's
not wrong.
clear. Yeah, that's pretty clearly what this guy is about. This guy is
I hate this guy.
horrible. This guy's
Anyways,
terrible.
let's get to the cat scene.
It cuts to the
that
cat
is
scene.
like maybe the part anybody has seen of this film.
Yeah, because
and
it's
I hate
wild.
It's so weird. So the two kids, the neighbor kid and another random neighbor kid, are talking about how that kid's brother farted and it was gross.
Had a nuclear fart, bro.
Well, bro.
They talk about being nuclear. It's great.
And then they're walking Max because neighbor kid helps woman.
Yeah, he just wanted to walk the dog.
So
Makes sense.
they see the cat, which is one of their neighbor's cats, who's a piece of shit cat that always claws them and hates people.
That's
and
what they say.
They get the idea to be like, oh, we have a dog now. Let's sick our dog on that cat. Yeah, fuck that cat.
Yeah.
And like, I guess kids would
like,
do this.
sick him.
It's shitty, but so the dog
Yeah.
starts running after the cat. The cat runs away, climbs up a tree, is very clearly distressed. And then the dog grows like panther claws and starts climbing the fucking tree after it.
Yeah, I think that it might be bear claws, like because you mentioned
claws?
the bear.
Oh, it could be bear claws.
I bet it was a bear. I thought it was panther at the time. I think that I was wrong about that because you mentioned the bear in the background. I'm like, right, they did have that.
So it's climbing the tree after the cat. It gets to the cat. You hear like a bunch of weird fucking like distressed cat noises, and then it goes to like a couple quick scenes back and forth, which is good because you don't see too much of it. If you saw too much of it, it would look.
It'd probably look really fake,
unrealistic, and shitty. But it's just here and there, quick flashes of the cat, like partway into the dog's mouth, most of the way to the dog's mouth, and then the head going down the throat, just eaten fully whole, like a snake eating a rat.
Yes,
and it's gross as shit.
It's awful. It's like The Thing. Like it's that kind of level of like weird body horror shit, and it's meant to be, right? Like it sucks to watch in a lot of ways because we like cats, we like animals, but it's really cool effect. Like honestly, you'd think that when I heard about that scene and I knew that scene was in this movie, it's one of the reasons why we kind of wanted to watch it. So it's like it's so wild to hear about that. Yeah, and it's kind of a famous scene from a B movie, and I was like, well, I'm curious about this. And I had expected it to be really cheesy and not well done. And it's like, no, it's all practical. No. Like there's a couple of rubber puppets, I'm sure, or something like just. And yeah, it's
that cat was having a bad time. I'm not gonna lie.
The real
did not have a bad time.
Best day, no, it was not the best day for the cat. But yeah, no, it was really well done. This looks really good. And then like the kids are like, oh shit, what the fuck, you sick the dog on it, not me, and they like run home because they don't want to be anywhere near that, which I mean they're like 8-year-old kids, makes sense, they're just little shitheads. 8 to 12, somewhere in there.
The one scene I didn't like, which is a setup for the end scene of the film, is the dog forced sex scene.
Well, yeah,
and it's gross. And it didn't feel good at all.
Warning on this, there is actually a scene that is like as a content warning that is very much just it's set up as a dog rape scene. Yep, it's start to finish.
I don't really want to discuss that scene, but it's gross.
No, basically just there's the neighbor dog that like the boy has. He's got a girl dog, and they set up this whole thing where he does a.
It's like if bad. Beethoven II was even more disgusting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So there's a.
But anyway,
and it's very much and it's set up like it's very implied. So it's done that way. So, anyways, that happens.
Next on the rampage is the mailman, which we talked about.
Yes, but they also I want to have a quick thing in there because there's some setup in between this stuff that's kind of subtle. It's well done. And that is so when the husband first comes home too, he gets out of his car. And he kind of wrinkles his nose, and he goes over to the front of his car, and he's like, "Oh, damn, it's leaking oil," kind of thing. Like he doesn't say that; he just looks at it and is like, "Oh," and then goes.
I think it's actually his brake line because he got it fixed.
It might have been, but it's leaking something. Like you can tell that it's leaking some kind of fluid, and he's kind of like, "Oh shit." So then he goes, and one of the things that happens inside of this whole little like happy part of the movie is they've got a guy underneath the car, and he's kind of fixing it. They're talking back and forth, and the dog comes over and starts bothering them, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my wife got this dog, and it's kind of obnoxious and stuff." And they're like, "Well, mister, can we help? Like maybe the dog can help." And he's like, "The dog can't help, not unless it hands me the brake line." And the dog is smart enough that it hands him the brake line. It picks up this brake line, passes it over to the guy, and they're both like, what the fuck? And that set up how smart the dog is, but also set up something that happens very shortly right after the mailman scene. So they fix the guy's brake line, this leak or whatever, and fix it all up. And
so the mailman is delivering the mail. Stops by their house.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld, the mailman.
Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with murder dogs?
He looks so much like Seinfeld. It's fucking wild to me.
And so he sees the dog. The dog starts like growling at him. He's like, fuck no. I've been around the block, buddy. I know how to deal with you fuckers. Fuck dogs. I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah, they have this whole thing where he's like, "Oh, hey, buddy, how you doing,
like,
boy?"
It's like
and then he like slowly
Western.
unzips his jacket. Like, yeah, it's totally set up as a Western. Like, it's a quick draw thing. He slowly unzips his jacket and like his fingers hover near his mace can that he's got.
Yeah, he like quick draws some mace and shoots the dog in the face with it for like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
which is way excessive.
Well, and the dog wasn't even growling at him or anything.
Got him this time. And then, oh no, you fool. This dog has resistance to mace spray because of X animal.
Yeah, it just shakes it off, essentially. I don't know why. Yeah.
Whatever. So he goes chasing after the mailman, grabs his leg as he jumps over a fence, downing him, and then jumps over the fence and grabs his fucking neck and rips it apart, and then starts burying him underneath the house.
Yeah, well, they show that. They show that a little while later, where they show like the dog going ahead and burying the mailman. Oh, this is actually the brake line happened before that because
I'm pretty sure there was a brake line scene. Yeah,
it did. Well, no, he tried to kill the guy with the brake line,
right?
Yeah, the dog. So the dog later on sees. Anyway, so the mailman thing happens, and it was funny because I even said to you at the time, like, it's weird tonally in a way, but again, I think it's on purpose, and I think it's effective, and that it's meant to be that this could be your neighborhood kind of feeling. It feels so much like a Beethoven or family sitcom that when, like, the mailman jumps over the fence to get away from the dog, I expected there to be like a funny scene of the dog like biting him on the balls and then being like, oh, and do like that kind of a thing. And instead it's like, oh, he bites his leg and there's blood everywhere. Oh, Jesus, he's ripping his throat out. And you're like, oh, right, yeah, horror movie. Like, it just hits real hard out of nowhere because of that. It's amazing how it just rips you in like that. And yeah, so he's burying the mailman under the house, like kind of they have like that trellis around the house that you have on some of the older houses where they kind of got like the crawl space underneath them, and it's broken, and they've got like a couple of pieces of mail around it and some blood, like a little setup, and then you hear like digging noises, and the guy comes home after being almost murdered.
Yes,
he also that was when he had his brake line
cut. Yeah. Yes. So he comes home, he's like, oh fuck, this dog is gonna murder me. I should take it out.
Because he went to a mechanic afterwards and he's like, why wasn't my brake line working? I just had it replaced. And he's like, it's gnawed through. And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, no, look. He's like, what do you think? Like, look. And he looked at it and he's like, shit, like, is this dog killing me? It knew what a brake line was, like it knew earlier. So it's kind of all set up and everything. And then he goes back to the house, and this is where he takes out the steak and everything that we talked about before, where he gets the steak, chops it up, puts in some rat poison, all that kind of thing.
We actually weren't sure if he was going to die at this point because he's escaped the dog twice now at the end of this scene, because he does run away. The dog doesn't get him after the poison scene.
Yeah, he manages to like kind of run through the house and then jump in his car and floor it away, which I love because like one of the next scenes is his wife coming home, and it's like, did he not think that he might want to tell her about the dog?
This is also when we see dog puppet paw.
This is dog puppet paw, dog paw. Yeah, because the dog picks up the steak because it had smelled that it was poisoned or whatever. Takes it, dumps it into the toilet, like, and then flushes it with fake dog paw. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Love it. And during all of this, by the way, there's two cops that are kind of following the case. And they keep on interviewing. They always intersplice these scenes with stuff that's not super relevant, but just kind of adds a little bit of like tension and tells you kind of what's going on the other side, where they're looking for the dog and Science Man. And Science Man is always just like, he's always sick of this shit. He's super disheveled all the time. He's always dirty and disheveled and smoking a cigarette. And he's like, you cops don't do shit. Like, he's that guy all the time.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of always interspersed with that. So this whole time that you have the Beethoven movie going on, you have him in the last 5 minutes of a Jaws movie being like, nobody believes me in this goddamn town. This dog's gonna murder everybody. Like he's always doing that in between these scenes. It's just,
because
he's just chewing scenes the whole
at
time.
this point he's broken into the TV studio, right?
This is when he
Like,
this is
'cause
around it's happening
he
simultaneous to
shoots
this.
a trank dart in the fucking chest of the security guard,
right into the heart of a security guard, killing him
literally
instantly.
killing him. Yeah,
which that's what would happen. Kills him instantly.
Sneaks in, finds out that the reporter has video footage, yada yada, and that she does have the dog, and he's trying to find her.
Yeah, so he goes down to her house to find her, and she gets a call. One of the reasons why she's went home is like, or when she's home, she gets a call.
She wants to go hide the dog.
Yeah, well, she gets a call from the basically because he broke in and he found the person that was videotaping, the camera woman. She calls the woman at the house, and she goes, you need to get rid of this dog. He knows that you're there. Like, he knows that you have the dog. So if you want to keep the dog out of the hands of these horrible scientists, you're going to have to hide the dog. She's like, well, I'll put him in a kennel. She's like, no, like, you need to give him away somewhere. Like, he'll look for a kennel. Go find someone on 1993's version of Kijiji, right? I don't know. They look it up and they want to give this dog away. So she goes home to take the dog away. And he shows up, no, that's later when...
No, it's a little bit later when the dog shows up.
Yeah, it's later.
No, what happens now...
Yeah, so she managed to get the dog,
What happens now is that she takes the dog to a junkyard, which was looking for a guard dog.
Yep. And
she meets with... I'm trying to figure out how to describe this guy. Maybe you can help. He's like... Southern man?
Yeah, he's Southern cowboy gentleman, junkyard owner, who immediately turns out to not be that. He's very gentlemanly and like, oh lady, I'll take your nice dog off. You look like
I'll take him to the ranch up, north.
Yeah,
and he'll be so nice and pleasant, and he'll love it.
I got a nice piece of rawhide here for him. Like, he pulls out.
And every time he's looking at her, it's like super friendly and smiling. And then you get this weird feeling whenever he looks at the dog. Like, is he talking out of his ass? What's he doing?
Yeah, the actor here does a great job. Like, we talked about it a few times. There's a lot of really good acting in this. This is William Sanderson, I believe is his name. He's there's a lot of cast here that's actually very good, that's been in a lot of other movies. Like you were saying, one of the cops also happens to be in, the
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Well, in Total Recall.
He's the coworker that's like, you shouldn't go to Moss.
Yes.
Told you not to go to Moss.
Yeah. William Sanderson is in like Blade Runner and Newhart, Deadwood, True Blood. Like, he's just in a lot of like TV and film. Like, you'd see in a ton of things. He's been in Babylon 5. He's been in just kind of everything. He's one of those people that's just, you'll always see him in the background of stuff doing really good work. And he does great work here.
His job in this movie is to mutilate the dog to make it look less friendly.
Yep.
That is his job in this film.
That's the reason why we have it.
Bashes the dog over the head with a fucking shovel.
The minute that she's gone,
He burns its face with a blowtorch. And then he gets his junk ripped off and fucking dies.
I mean, you don't see him die. He probably does.
I would assume more than just that happens to him, to be honest.
I would assume. But yeah, so he ties up the dog and he's like, now that I've abused you, I'm going to make you the meanest junkyard dog ever, kind of thing. So it's like, okay, that's why he's doing this. And then he tries to kind of fight the dogs. The dog's like pulling at the end of the chain. He's like, come on, doggy, what you can do? And he's got like a welding
He's like taunting him and shit.
Yeah, and then when the dog does break free, because dog's super dog, he burns it in the face. And now it's got like this weird glass eye thing and all this blood over its face. Horrible scar. So now it's all Cujo'd up, right? Like, now it looks like zombie dog. So you've got the full effect of what they wanted to go for from the beginning. And yeah, the dog wants to go back to the house because it likes this lady, so it wants to go back home.
They make it back to the house. The dog's a piece of shit. But the husband, who has been rightfully creeped out by this fucking dog trying to murder him, found out that she gave the dog away, and he wants to make things right because he's been giving her a real hard time about this dog, who's kind of a monster in reality.
Not kind of.
Yeah, so he brings home an adorable little puppy, to make amends and get her a dog that he will be able to deal with, and two that isn't trying to fucking murder everything.
Yes.
Totally
And
fair.
During this, and he says, like, see, look, this is a nice puppy. We can raise it into a dog that we both like. Hopefully you enjoy that. Is this a dog that you like? She goes, yeah, I love it. And then he goes, oh, look, yeah, I'm calling him Spike. See, look at what he does. And he, like, grabs a plug, and he's like, oh, look. And he's, like, making the dog's, like, kind of batting at this, like, electric plug and playing with it. And she's like, don't do that. Don't teach him that. That's awful. And he's like, okay, fine. Because, I mean, that is a stupid thing to teach a dog. And it's, they have the neighborhood kid come over, and he starts making a milkshake with them, and the little dog unplugs the cord, and they're like, oh, god damn it, they taught the dog already. This dog is already fucking around with all these
That
wires.
dog's gonna do that the rest of its life.
Yeah, and so he goes upstairs, and he's kind of laughing. He's getting ready for work or whatever. He's getting dressed somehow. Like, he's putting on, like, a blazer or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is when Max comes home, and Max, like, hears him upstairs, and
he climbs in the window.
Yeah, he does like his bear claw thing.
Up.
Yeah, he does the bear claw thing. He does like the whole, like, he can just climb, and yeah, he waits until the blender is going and then pops out from behind a door so that the guy can't, like, the people downstairs don't
Can't hear him.
Yeah, as like he goes after this guy, and this guy, we thought for sure, I'm like, oh, you know, I still don't know if he's going to die. And then as I said that, he popped out from behind the door and shoved him through like a mirror.
He didn't go behind the door. He went through the door.
Yeah, he went through the door and the mirror.
Knocked him in through the wall and ripped out the drywall behind him. He fucking hit him like a car.
And even then, he's not dead. He's not dead. No, he's not dead. He's kind of moaning on the ground. And we bring back...
Acid piss. Right on his face.
He does the
eating
fly
away
thing.
His skin and shit. It's gross as hell.
Yeah,
they don't show it.
He's all over his face.
They don't show his face like dissolving. They could have
a little bit. They kind of show it. They smoke over it a bit. Like it's, but it's not super. It's not really detailed. You see very, very vague hints of like weird flesh things, and you just see like a lot of smoke, but like it's not really clear at all. It's not done where it's very super good gore kind of thing, like not really gory there, which I was kind of glad for. Honestly, I don't need it necessarily.
The cops are finally done with this bullshit because they found Jon Snow behind the dumpster, and they're like, all right, we need to kill this fucking dog. This is ridiculous.
And they figured that the girl that was missing at the lab was also killed by this dog and all these things. They show up in force at the house as the guy had pulled up. The science man had showed up also to go and get the dog, and he's like, "Ah, shit," and peels out just as they pull up, and they come up with sirens blaring. The dog
makes a run for it, right?
And the cops do exactly what all cops do, which is just start unloading in this civilian neighborhood every which direction.
Bullets into every
massive
house.
Firefight. Yeah. I'm like, holy shit, there's like children playing on lawns, guys. What the fuck? It's crazy.
So they start chasing after him, but the dog can run as fast as a cheetah, so they're not catching up very quickly.
Yeah, they show like 65 miles an hour kind of thing, and the dog's still ahead of them.
And on the police radio, it's going, we're chasing after this dog, it's killed people. And fucking Bill and Ted show up out of their fucking excellent telephone. And they're dog catchers this time. And they're like, whoa, totally brodacious, dude. We gotta go get that dog. We gotta go get that dog and show them how it's done.
You might think that we're joking about this, but they absolutely do that. They're like, yo, dude, bro, let's go get this dog. This will be totally
and then they do like the wild stallions. And then they get into the dog catcher car. Like, holy shit.
It's so good. They had them earlier for a moment. And again, setting up everybody gets what they deserve in a way. They had these guys like pulling in this little poodle or something, like this tiny little dog, and they're being really mean to this Yorkie. Yeah, it's a Yorkie, and they're like maybe we should shock it, Ted. Like they're kind of doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so be excellent to each other, but not to dogs. So,
Whoa,
yeah,
Iron Maiden, excellent. We're just doing shit like that constantly. It's great. But yeah, so they start chasing after the dog that is being chased by the cops. The cops they like corner the dog. They're like, just fucking ram it, and the dog like jumps over their car, then causes a four pile car pile up of cops.
Nailed it. Got there.
We
yeah, so
eventually
they
got
cut,
there.
and these guys are like, "Now it's our turn. We got this, bro."
Well,
And they
bro.
just, like, speed in from behind the dog runs into this garage, and they jump out and run into the garage after it, and then the garage door slowly lowers.
Slowly closes,
it's
and the
great.
dog is also chameleon invisible.
Yeah, they talked about it having chameleon DNA, and they bring it back.
Yeah.
They like lean in real close, and they're like, "Where's the dog? I don't see it." And then suddenly the dog reappears in front of them in this weird, like, kind of fade-in phase thing. Movie.
He's ours now.
Like,
We'll roll this so the pros can take over.
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yo, dog. Let's go get that dog, bro.
Yeah, man.
Oh, it's so good. They're so dead.
Oh yeah.
For some action?
I can't believe this movie's gonna kill Bill and Ted. Shit.
Yeah, it is.
It's
This is so good. This movie's ridiculous.
But like, it sets up these guys as being mean to dogs too, right?
it
Where
does,
it's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, I'm gonna totally like give it that electric shock. Too.
Chameleon.
Come on, man.
It's happening.
Yeah, puppy.
This is so good. We're using.
Yeah, puppy.
Yo, Ted, where's the dog, man?
Yeah, bro. He's gonna bite their face.
I didn't kill them. Okay, that's actually.
That was so good. Yes, I'm clapping. I love that.
And it's surprisingly
They
didn't
don't
get hurt.
die.
No,
You know why
I
they
thought
don't die?
I was sure they were.
They were setting up for a sequel so that they
Yes.
could bring back the Bill and Ted fucking
Bill and Ted's
dog catchers in
Excellent
the
Adventure
future.
2. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were doing
God.
it 100%.
But they run screaming out of the garage and jump back into their van, run off, and the dog kind of saunters back out. Something that I wanted to mention, just because we
Yeah.
talked about the cops, I want to go back to an early scene that I'd written a note about, and I'd kind of forgotten to mention it. We were saying how Lance Henriksen, Science Man, is always at 11. He's always in the final 5 minutes. In the first, 10 minutes or so of this movie, he's in the cop station, and they're like, oh, maybe one of these animal rights activists broke in. Maybe you can look at these pictures. And he's looking through, and he's like, no, none of these are the right one. Don't you get it? And flips the table on them in 30 seconds. He throws all their stuff off the table. And the reason why I especially loved it is that in the background, one of the cops sees this, him throwing some stuff off of a table, and immediately draws his gun and points it at the back of his head. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, you're fucking killing in the middle of this police station. It's so good. It's just so
Classic
over the
cops.
top and well
Classic
done.
Cops.
Just
Yeah.
total cops. It's cops, man.
So the dog gets away. They can't find him. They set up a sting operation at the house, assuming the dog will come back.
Yeah,
and
all
at
the
this
cops are going
point,
around. Yeah.
both of the cops that we know die in the little
Yes.
stakeout. And
Because the one goes looking underneath and
Yeah.
finds the mailman, and as he pulls away the dirt and sees the bodies there, you hear that, and then and he dies. And
yeah. So at this point, we need to get away from the house.
yes,
So our main character runs into Science Man in his car,
Mhm.
and he
Yep.
forces her into the vehicle, and then they start driving back to the lab.
kind of forces her. She kind of goes in too, because it's a little bit of come with me if you want to live.
And now we're in a Sarah Connor situation. It's fucking ridiculous.
She runs out of the house to get into the cop car, And when she opens the door, the second cop falls out dead with his throat ripped out. And so then she's looking around, and the science man pulls up, and he's like, hurry up, let's get in there, and just fly off. Dog's chasing after them as they get back to the lab. Yeah.
Yes.
And the dog chases them down.
As the dog is chasing, he catches up to the car. Very, T-1000 fucking ridiculousness.
Yeah, it feels so Terminator
on top,
away here.
Climbs over the top, and then breaks through the front of the windshield, biting at them. And
trying to get the gun away from the guy.
So Terminator.
It's so Terminator. Yeah, it feels very much like that kind of an action scene. This movie doesn't do a lot that's super original, but it just does a lot of things really well. Right? Like, it's things that you've seen in other movies in a way. It's not like direct ripoffs, but it just has that same feel, and it's just really well done that way. Like, it has a little bits of that. So yeah, it's trying to get the gun out of the guy's hand, and because of that,
and very importantly, real quick, she still has the puppy with her.
Yeah, she takes the puppy with her like she's
like a
scared.
babe.
Yeah, because she's been afraid of the dog, and so she picked up the puppy and like runs out with it. And they hit the barrier of the lab, like they've got like a gate. And I thought... It was a really cool
stunt here.
Well, yeah, I'm like, they're going to hit it and it's just going to like stop the car. Holy shit, does it stop the car? This car launches 20 feet in the air and like flips over, goes through the whole front of the lab, like, and just causes this massive destruction. I was like, oh shit, okay. I expected it to kind of hit and just be like a... like hitting a lamppost kind of thing, but no, like this thing launches. They do a whole big stunt, and she crawls out of the wreckage of the car, and he's going like, "No, don't leave. He'll kill you if you leave," kind of thing. And as she crawls away, you see from the rubble, you hear this, and then this dog paw,
fake dog paw pops out.
Fake dog paw.
It always
makes scenes good. It always makes scenes good, no matter the movie.
So
it's very like
puppy.
zombie pulling it like hand out of the grave thing.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good, and it just pulls itself out. And
I'm not dead yet, bitch.
Yeah. She grabs the puppy, runs away. Dog's chasing after her. She eventually like drops the puppy and like tries and hides it, and then keeps running away herself. And then she gets into a lab at like kind of the one of the labs at the beginning, right? Yeah.
It's the same lab at the beginning. This scene though feels so much like the kitchen scene in Jurassic Park with the raptors that it's so weird that it did not rip it off.
Yeah,
because it's like running in a circle around what is essentially a metal table or metal drawers, and the dog is just stalking her.
More than anything, it feels like that, I think, because of the lighting, as you mentioned. Yeah. Like, it feels, it's kind of lit in a similar way and shot in a similar way. A lot of metal stuff, a lot of, like, really kind of cool blue lighting, like a little, like, not like the lighting is actually blue, but, like, it's on the colder colors spectrum, right? Like, it's just a little bit cold and dark. Kind of a feel, very metallic feel to everything. This is a neat little scene. So she's kind of running around with it. She picks up this scalpel, but it's like a scalpel that was massive, like it was weirdly sized.
It was like
huge knife.
It's like she had baby hands and was holding a normal size scalpel.
Yeah, it's weird. Like the scalpel was massive. Like it was big. It was as big as a Bowie knife, but a scalpel.
You call that a knife? Wait a second. So, like, the surgeon comes out, he's like, oh, you call that a knife? Now that's a knife. And he starts digging in, like, holy shit, dude.
I feel like it might be because, like, they had lions and stuff in there. So it maybe makes sense that it's, like, meant for larger animals or, like, things like that. So, I don't know. It's weird. But she picks up this big... It's not quite a scalpel either, but it's kind of like that. Some kind of surgical tool anyways. She's holding this thing, and she's like... The dog sees her and they kind of circle each other. And then she slowly realizes like, well, maybe the dog still likes me and I just need to show it a little bit of love again. So she kind of slowly puts the knife down and then she like reaches out her hand. She's like, listen, Max. And you hear like, oh,
yeah, there's this really cute scene. It's like
a little cute little scene. And she like rubs its head and he kind of licks her hand and they kind of cuddle each other. Yes. And then, boom! Shotgun blast through the fucking lab door.
Bishop is done with their shit.
He's done with this fucking shit, and he is coming for blood. Oh my god. Yeah. So he ruins this whole moment. Moment where she might have like redeemed Max or whatever.
Blows a fucking hole through the door and kicks it open and like, holy shit, Bishop, calm down.
Yeah, he starts running towards the dog. Dog starts running towards him. He fires off the shotgun, but like the dog kind of gets him at the same time.
Yeah, so like
and hits
they
him.
go opposite directions. Because the shotgun blast not only knocks him backward, but also the dog jumping on him. He flies out the window outside. The dog flies the other direction. And
window into
Bishop,
like the warehouse side of the lab. He's not
lands
outside
on
of the
some,
thing.
Like generator or something.
No. He lands on a metallic cage, but there happens to be
a cage.
It's one of he lands on a cage, and there happens to be like broken machinery beside it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
like there's something beside.
And now the true hero of the film, the adorable little puppy, starts fucking
set up
with
and
the
pay
wires,
off, motherfuckers.
Starts fucking with the wires again, breaks it, causes a power surge, which then electrocutes and fucking kills Bishop sitting on top of this cage.
Fucking kills Science Man. The puppy is also a murderer. This woman can't have a dog that doesn't murder people, dude.
I don't think this woman should have a pet.
She should not have a dog. Her husband was so right this whole fucking film. Whole film, the husband was entirely right. Don't get a dog. That's all. That's the lesson. Don't get a dog, lady. So electrocutes Lance Henriksen. Max is shot in the chest with the shotgun. So he's laying down, and she kind of cuddles Max as he dies. And
then we cut back to the Beethoven movie we were watching. We're back in very nice suburbia 4 months later. And
for Beethoven's second,
and now there's puppies, and they're adorable, but one of them looks like the other dog.
And at the end, he kind of does a puppy growl, and we know that dun Max 2.0 has been born.
I'm kind of mad that there wasn't a second one because I wanted Bill and Ted to show back up.
I really want to see a second one of this movie. I want to see this movie get schlockier.
I'm going to describe this movie in a list of other movies. So this is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Terminator 2, Jaws, Jurassic Park, a little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street, or Friday the 13th. A little bit.
Yeah, like just slasher.
Beethoven. And this is extremely important, Paperboy for the NES.
Yeah, I'm not wrong. You're not wrong. This movie's kind of, I mean, like, okay, it's obviously not a cinematic masterpiece.
No,
but I
enjoyed it.
I had fun with it. It was surprisingly polished. There wasn't anything really out of place at all. Like, it just felt real good, start to finish, as far as what they were going for.
They got exactly what they were trying for.
I could see you not liking this movie based on, like, oh, you just don't like monster slasher films, or it's kind of derivative. Like, the plot's pretty basic. Like, I mean, it's kind of something that you've seen before. So I could see not liking it for that. But, like, special effects, acting, just, like, the editing that's done on it, the way it's shot, like, all that stuff is pretty much impeccable. Like, it's really well done that way. There's nothing really to criticize there. It's hard to nitpick anything on that. It looks really good as a film.
I would watch this again, to be honest.
Yeah, as a film, like cinematography wise and like special effects wise, and just like the stunts they have for the dog and the tricks it does and how cute it is and the way they shoot it is all really well done. Everybody acts really well. Like, this movie has a really terrible rating, which is why we watched it. But despite that, the lead actress actually got nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Actress, and I think she deserved that. She did really a good job. Yeah. There was a lot of people that were really good in this movie as actors. It was surprisingly well acted.
This movie feels like an 80s slasher film shot in a 90s way.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's an early 90s movie, so it fits directly into that period of what
it's also interesting because the slasher is a dog.
I mean, I guess.
That might also be a point.
Yeah, it worked for Leprechaun, except with
so
Leprechaun.
How cute is this dog? We need to rate the dog, because this dog,
I would rate this dog a 6.67 out of 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say on a Greta scale, I feel like it's
Yeah.
like it's like at a 0.95 Greta's. Like it's so close to being a Greta.
It's like almost
more
6.66, but
almost. It's more menacing than Greta. This dog is a better actor than Greta. But it cuts brake lines, but it cuts brake lines with its mouth. The other dog, I'm pretty sure, would have used scissors.
Shit.
Like,
it doesn't do human shit.
I'm pretty sure that Greta used like her dog paws to get scissors and like cut them and things like that. Like, I mean, Greta didn't cut a brake line. Greta removed a car battery.
She removed the battery. She like undid the bolts, removed the thing, pulled out the battery. Like,
yes. That's why Greta's the best. So at like 9.5 Greta, it's real close on the Greta scale. We almost had an upset here, but I think that Greta still wins a little bit.
What about Spike, the puppy?
Oh my god! Okay,
that puppy is a completely different beast.
Well, is it? It murders Lance Henriksen.
It does murder him.
It fucking electrocutes that dude real good, man.
But it did it in a really cute way.
It overloads all of his circuitry, and Bishop never gets back up again.
Yeah, thankfully we won't have to watch any fucking Alien sequels anymore. Jesus. Or prequels. Oh.
So,
I would rate the puppy a murderous tendency out of 10.
Would you like to rate the film?
See, I have a problem with that because I feel like our viewers are going to be very upset that we watched a good movie. And I'm starting to get a little anxious that they're... Oh no, we've broken the code, Cam! We broke the code!
There's only one way. Okay, there's only... Boyks, I know of only one way to fix this. I know of only one way. So
no!
During 1993, there is another movie that came out at the same time that was fighting for theater space for it. And I think that we can watch that and probably make up for it.
No.
But Boyks, it has a stellar cast. It has John Travolta, Christy Alley, Danny DeVito. It has all the actors that you want. Diane Keaton, I think, is in it, right? Like, it's just chock full of all-star talent.
All right,
Bruce Willis.
Leaving. I'm going. I'm leaving.
That's right, baby. It's Look Who's Talking Now. With 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
You can't make me. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. This is Rough Cuts.
I can't guarantee that we're going to watch that movie next because I think that we're watching Sonic the Hedgehog.
I talked you into watching Sonic the eat a corn dog / chili dog / other foods that...
Yeah, he likes corn dogs and chili dogs, so there's lots of dogs. He's a hedge dog. I'm pretty sure I have that right in my notes. So we're going to be watching that probably. Yeah. When you sent it to me, I saw Sonic the Hedgehog, and I thought we'd watch that. Sounded like it would be an interesting bad movie, and we don't normally get to see a lot of movies that are coming out about dogs, so I'll be interested to see this Sonic dog.
I've never heard of it before.
Weird blue dog. I don't know.
I think it's based on a video game.
No. It's a comic. I'm pretty sure it's a manga. It was a manga. Yeah. I think that it's like kind of Ghost in the Shell. Like maybe
I
a little
like
bit
the paper strip
but...
better than the manga. I'm gonna be honest.
Fair. Okay. In any case, thanks everybody for watching Rough Cuts. We do really appreciate everybody who messages us and talks back to us on like Twitter. Maybe not talks back to us. Talks about us on Twitter. Spreads out the word of it.
Oh hell no! You ain't talking back to Rough Cuts. You fucked
Please,
up.
Boyks, no. So
down.
We've now gotten down. Sit. Stay. Hold. Max. Hold. So, God, we're approaching 1,500 downloads, which is really fantastic. We appreciate it a lot. If you share this out, we'd really appreciate that. I mean, all we have is word of mouth to kind of share this out. We did start our Patreon recently to offset some of the costs of hosting the podcast site and all of the movies that we watch and things like that. So if you want to help us with a couple bucks, that's also super appreciated. You can find that all out on our Twitter. It's at Rough Cuts Cast. or you can email us if you want, if you have movie suggestions or anything like that. We're roughcuts@gmail.com. Roughcutscast@gmail.com again. Sorry. And yeah, thank you all for watching. It was a blast to do this one. We've had 2 really good ones in the last 3. We had to make up for Super Buddies.
You know what?
I think that we averaged out even.
I enjoyed myself, and I could not be more disappointed in this podcast.